check. Right. Welcome to the hearing, everyone. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. I'm going to go ahead and get everyone checked in. Remind you, these are being recorded on file with the city. I'll start with our virtual guest, Sarah. Sarah, if you could unmute and please tell me your full name and who you're representing here today. Sarah, I need you to unmute. It's usually the bottom left of your application.
Okay, sorry. Sarah Odell, Aerosmith and Associates.
You said Sarah Odell.
Yes.
Okay, and who did you say you're representing here today?
Aerosmith and Associates.
Got it. Is that a neighboring property owner or how is it connected to the project, if at all?
It's a neighbor.
Got it. Okay. All right, welcome. We also have Peter Koenig and Peter Koenig's client.
This is Ryan Pearson, Pearson. He's with Edge. They've prepared the plans and assisted with the application. And I'm Peter Koenig, Koenig, 221 East 4th Street, and I'm the attorney for the applicant.
Okay.
And the applicant.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
So I need to, before we get started, I need to read through our hearing script. It's basically just cover the procedure for the hearing and then we'll get into it. So this is the September 18th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city and I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us is case number ZH20240111. That's 2500 Park Avenue. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. Mr. Koenig, as you know, I'm pretty liberal about how you want to orient your presentation. You can do a more traditional sort of direct examination style questioning, or you can just turn it over to Mr. Pearson to testify on his own. It's really up to you, but I'll allow you that opportunity at first to tell me about the case, the relief you're requesting, why you think that relief is appropriate and why I should grant it. I'll then turn to the public. We have Ms. Odell. I'll allow Ms. Odell, if she would like, to provide any testimony at that time after the applicant has presented its case. I failed to introduce one other party that's in the room, which is Emily Ahaus, the zoning administrator. Her office has prepared a staff report in connection to this case. I'll allow her to provide any testimony in addition to that staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony that was offered in opposition. And then finally, Mr. Koenig, you'll have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I will limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue to postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. If you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if you are not an attorney, if you could raise your right hand now, I'll need you to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Great. All right. Mr. Koenig, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I'll just give a brief overview. This property is known as 2500 Park Avenue. It's about 1.43 acres. It is located in Walnut Hills, corner of Park Avenue and East McMillan Street. It was the subject of a zoning hearing about 4 years ago. A bunch of variances were approved. Most of the variances that are before you today are substantially similar to the approval 4 years ago. Obviously, that approval expired. We are requesting 11 variances. It's a mid-rise building. There's 6 stories, 1 level, ground level parking, 5 levels of multifamily residential. It's in the T5, thank you. T5N.SS-O transect in the form-based code. Form-based code, as you know, is quite flexible, but this is a unique property, and that's why we need to come before you for the variances. I'll turn it over to Ryan in a minute. I just want the record to reflect and to be admitted into evidence. We have submitted a number of letters over the last couple of weeks. We have 5 residents of Upland Place, 2 residents from Woodburn Avenue. More importantly, we have strong business support in the community. ETC Produce is opening in Model Group's Paramount Launch project, with is about a half block or block west on McMillan. We have McDonald's restaurant, Skyline Chili, and Chipotle restaurants. It's the same owner. The letterhead is Skyline. So we have Chipotle, we have Skyline, St. Anthony of Padua, Maronite Catholic Church, 533 LTD, Dennis L. Back and Associates Architects, Lighthouse Youth and Family Services, Alms Hill Preservation Limited Partnership Related Affordable. That's for the Alms, the large Alms apartment building, and the Talbert House on Big Parkway. We also have Aerosmith. I didn't know that was signed by Tony Aerosmith that I submitted yesterday. And all of these businesses and letters are in strong support of our project. I'm not going to read them to you. They all are tailored to the unique situation. But Aerosmith says, for example, approving this project will continue the positive trend by transforming a vacant property at the intersection of Park and McMillan into a $50 million multifamily residential complex offering 244 apartment homes. And they strongly support the momentum in the community. I think, so I'd request that all of the letters that we've submitted over the last, Ms. Ahouse has been kind enough to upload them, and Cassandra's uploaded some were submitted directly. And that brings up another point. I just received an email less at 9:30 today saying that Model Group, Bobby Malley and Matt Reckman of Model Group said that they would get a hearing to get a supportive letter to the city before 10 o'clock today. I don't know if you got it or not. I don't want to, I don't want to slow things down, but apparently Model Group supports the project also. So I'd like Ryan to explain why we need the 11 variances, because that's the purpose of the hearing today.
Okay.
And well, I think she's here in support of the project. At least the letter is very supportive.
That would be my guess. So we'll start with your presentation, and then I'll give her a chance to weigh in after.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let Ryan explain the project, why we need the variances.
Right, and so where the form-based codes, we think they're a great thing moving forward in various cities and jurisdictions. They can't predict every exact condition, every exact site, especially when you're dealing with a redevelopment site like this one. So of the 11 variances, I think there were 6 that were almost exact to the previous, the 2020 site plan that came through and had the variances supported and approved. But they have to do with the nature of the site being so large and asking for relief for the site, which then the form-based code also says, push your buildings to the front. It gives us certain massing and regulations that we need to stay within. But it also has relatively small setbacks, which starts to say that the building needs to fill the site. The 6 stories are allowed as part of the zoning right now. There's a little piece on the north property line where we abut a different zoning district, but it's the T5N. It's the large setback versus the small setback. So it's a small little site, and just to the east of that, you have the Alms. That's like a 9 or 10 story structure. You have to the north of that site across Taft, where you have Eden Park. That's 9, 10, maybe even 11 on the walkout basement. I don't know exactly what the stories were on that one. Needless to say, the sites right around us are tall buildings that are non-conforming with that T5N LS, but they are in the LS district. So there's the small site to the north there that has correct, that site has a vacant garage on it. That the height limitation in that particular site is four stories.
Yeah, let me just interrupt while we're talking about height. If you go to Exhibit D, Delta, it has the heights listed of the buildings.
Okay.
And then further to the west, you have several 4- and 5-story structures throughout that corridor. And we are on Victory Parkway is the eastern edge of the Walnut Hills neighborhood district. So we're really right on that eastern edge, except for the McDonald's. And I think we're in compliance with the context that we're setting within.
Okay. And so did you say that the height relief is only necessary due to this building?
That one parcel right there, the parking lot in that building is a small parcel that has a T5N LS or large setback zoning district on it that only allows for 4-story. And then under the T5N small setback or SS that we're in, we can only go a half a story above that. And so that's where we're asking for some relief, even though it's the 6 stories allowed within our base zoning district.
Okay.
And it's our belief that the parking lot to the north and that the parking garage is scheduled for demolition. It's been vacant for a number of years. And that site is likely to be redeveloped,
And I think,
perhaps by our client.
who owns that site currently? Is it Alms?
Yes,
And
related,
do we get a letter?
supporting the project.
Yeah, we got a letter of support from the property owner on that piece as well.
Okay.
If you'd like, I could.
Other than that, there's some other small set variances, such as part of the code requires us to break our building up into 50-foot building segments. We have some corner conditions on the northeast and southeast corners that go to 60 feet or just under 60. And really that's a result of the building, the architecture inside, the units and how they get broken up. And we think it's a minor detail. I think we met the intent of breaking up those facades.
Yeah, if I can just correct the record, Alms Hill Preservation LP related owns the large building. It's not clear to me from their letter if they just have rights to use that parking lot. I know they do have rights to use it, but I'm not sure who owns the parking lot. But Alms Hill says, as a neighboring property owner, we support the Park Avenue project due to anticipated benefits and positive impacts for our property, our residents, and the neighborhood.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
No, I think with that, I'm open for a discussion.
Okay. So you said 6 of these were approved in 2020 and that are the same.
Relatively the same. So like the dimensional variance on the lot size hasn't changed. The dimensional variances on the width of the building might be plus or minus 5 feet longer in one direction or the other. The other difference is that original plan had an L-shaped building that fronted McMillan and Park. And really the new proposal completes the north property line and the eastern property line, making it an O shape is what we're calling it.
Called a donut or an O shape.
Donut, yeah.
The two big differences are adding a 6th floor and converting from an L-shaped building to an O-shaped building with parking in the middle that you don't see from the.
Right, and with the O shape, we don't have any traditional surface parking, if you will. It's all within the building perimeter. So it'll be enclosed or screened by the building itself.
The parking will be like in the interior of the.
In the ground floor.
On the first floor, on the ground level.
Okay.
Can you talk, Ryan, about the common amenities and what the first floor is gonna look like at the corner and along McMillan Street?
Right, and so some of the variances that were approved in that previous version, the L shape, it's a very similar layout of the building where we have our clubhouse leasing in that southwest corner, so it's really anchoring that corner at Park and McMillan. To the east of that, we have 4 residential units that help activate or screen that parking from McMillan, which is our primary street or our front street. Park Avenue is our side street. We did move an elevator lobby on the north end of the building from, it was centrally located in the site. We moved it out to that Park Avenue frontage to try to activate that streetscape a little bit further and meet the intent of the code. And then we're asking for a relief there, which was one of the variances that was approved in 2020 to not have the enclosed space at the ground floor up to 30 feet. We have parking within that zone. But for the most part, we are activating McMillan building frontage.
And it's consistent with the connected communities zoning in the city now. There's emphasis on walkability. There's going to be a transit hub, I believe, over on Gilbert Avenue, a couple blocks to
Taft.
Taft and over there, a couple blocks to the west. 71 bicycle racks, you know, postal room, package room, common amenities. I think there'll be a kitchen or some sort of
There's like
community coffee
generally a
space.
social room, a fitness room.
Not open to the
There
public.
might be a little business center in there that people can come down and use if they need to get away from a roommate or whatnot.
And it's 66% 1-bedroom apartments. I think it's 17% efficiency, 17% 2-bedroom. Is that
I don't remember the percentages.
Yeah, I think off the top of my head.
We had it in our.
And if I could just bring up another important point. When we received our adjudication letter from the zoning plan examiner on August the 5th, he said also, please keep us apprised of the community response. And I would like you to know, Mr. Hearing Examiner, that we have had at least 7 meetings with organized group of citizens in Walnut Hills. We started that process on May the 8th, 2024, and I submitted a letter that has these dates and who we met with. But we first met with the Redevelopment Foundation on May the 8th. We then met with the Walnut Hills Working Group, and that consists of representatives from the business group, the area council, and the Redevelopment Foundation. So all 3 groups have something called the Walnut Hills Working Group. We met with them on May 16th. We met with the area council on June 13th. We met with the business group on July 25th. We then went to the area council's Planning and Economic Development Committee on August the 1st. And then on August the 8th, the area council had a rather spirited discussion, a big crowd. There were 2 projects up that night. And unfortunately, they did not pass a resolution to support us. On the other hand, they did not pass a resolution to oppose us either. And I don't believe there's anything, there's no opposition in the file. We then went ahead and met with the business group, had a very good meeting on August 22nd. The business group had a vote. The vote was 5 in favor and 3 against and 3 abstentions. So I thought we won the vote 5-3, but I was told that they would not be sending a letter of support because of the 3 abstentions together with the 3 nays would be 6-5. We're not concerned about that at this point. All that's set forth in a letter that I uploaded as part of this file. And bring that to your attention to let you know that we engaged thoroughly, comprehensively. We answered all the questions. They may not have liked all the answers. This is market rate housing. It has a great appeal for a neighborhood in transition. And all the businesses that we've contacted have sent letters of support or indicated at least verbally that they support us.
All right, anything else at this time before we move to the public?
No.
All right, let's do that. Ms. Odell, did you want to provide any testimony? If so, now is the time.
No, we're just in favor of it. Anything to improve the neighborhood will be fantastic and love the design that we saw.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here and thank you for your letters as well that we have received and are a part of the record. Okay, I think now I'll turn it over to Emily House. She'd like to add anything to the conversation.
And I think Trey Sheldon's staff report really goes into a detailed analysis of the project and the variance standards, and our recommendation is to approve the project and that it is consistent with the standards for variances. As the applicant has stated, the majority of the variances are really related to the overall lot size itself, and form-based code really does not fit well and doesn't contemplate these really large scale redevelopment of large lots. We have seen similar relief for lot size, building width and depth for other new projects in the vicinity in the Walnut Hills neighborhood in the form-based code. So this is really a substantial property right enjoyed by others in the vicinity in terms of those lot size, building width, and building depth relief that's requested. Similarly with the height, the applicant noted the Alms in the vicinity, which has a taller height that they are seeking. There's also Eden very close by, which is another taller building. And this is really related to what the adjacent zoning district permits, not what's existing in the context. And the building as designed is going to be compatible with the architecture surrounding it and the streetscape. It's not out of scale in terms of the height or the setbacks. Really the only other item of relief, sort of different category, is the parking. And they're seeking a pretty minimal reduction in the parking spaces required. They've really maximized the parking they can put on the site while appropriately screening it from view and not adversely affecting the pedestrian nature of the streetscape. And there are many buildings in the vicinity that have no off-street parking. So again, that's a similar condition and a substantial property right enjoyed by others, the relief they're seeking.
Is it that he mentioned connected communities earlier? Is this within?
This is not in a connected communities affected.
Right, but is it within a certain distance of one of the transit lines?
I would have to look at it on a map. It did not get the P designation, which was the only change we made in form-based code, which would have been no parking required.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah, did we look at that, Ryan, to see if we were within a zone where we have no parking requirement?
No, I don't think we're within the connected communities. The only thing that I would add to the parking is we do have some on-street parking adjacent to our site on our half of the two streets that would more than account for the amount of spaces we're asking for that relief for. We can't count those as our proposed because you can if it's retail, you cannot if it's residential. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think they should be available.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was familiar that the form-based code was treated differently in the connected communities legislation. I was just wondering if this was not form-based code, if perhaps it would be close enough to one of those transit lines to sort of qualify.
And I don't think it is because we did change to the P designation within either on the block face or within that half mile.
Emily and I were talking about a different case last week, and we determined that Reading Road is a transit corridor, that it would be on the other side of 71.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably more than a mile away, more than a half mile away.
Okay. All right. I'll turn it back over to applicants here. Anything you'd like to say in response to anything you heard from Emily?
Well, if you or the public have any questions or our staff, we're happy to address them. I think we submitted a pretty comprehensive application. We referred to the earlier site. The case number is in there if you need to look at that file, but we have our application. We have all the letters that I would request be admitted. And I would appreciate acknowledgement of the community outreach that we've engaged in with every organized body in Walnut Hills. I went to, I think, 6 of those 7 meetings and engaged. And we actually made a change. Ryan, can you explain the change that we made on the Park Avenue entrance in response to the community?
And I'll just
The community was concerned about.
I'll use a plan really quick. So this elevator lobby that we have over here on Park Avenue.
He's referring to Exhibit F.
Sorry, it's one of the sheets in Exhibit F. I think there
Or
are
one of them.
a few Exhibit Fs. This elevated lobby, it used to be in here centrally located as part of the hallway system through the building. It was a more convenient access, I think, for the residents of the project to get down to parking. And it was brought to our attention on, I think, the first meeting.
First or
maybe,
second meeting, yeah.
that, boy, you know, I just see people driving in here, parking and going right up to their unit and not even interacting with anybody in the neighborhood or on the street. And so we thought that was a great comment, and we did move it over here, and actually as part of that, I think we took a little notch out of the building.
Right. We may have lost a spot or a parking spot or two. And there's an elevator lobby in there. And that was in reaction to the community wanting and to make more walkability, more openness to the community, to the street. And that was favorably acknowledged and received by the community when we had our meeting on with the Walnut Hills Area Council. The last one, when they took the vote, several people spoke up in our behalf and appreciated that we had done that.
All right, great. I don't have any other questions. All of the letters that were received from the community will be admitted as a part of the record. Did you say that the community engagement piece that you outlined in your application materials?
Well, not in the application, because I did it after the application. On August 5th, the Trey Shelton, the zoning plans examiner, asked me to let him know what the community engagement was. I'm happy to give you a hard copy of it if you'd like.
No, as long as we have it.
I'm pretty sure I uploaded it.
I believe I asked Trey to upload it. If it's okay, if it's not up there, I can upload it after this hearing.
I think it is. Would you like the copy, hard copy?
I have it.
You got it. Yeah, what it is, it's my, it might have been two different emails. I sent emails to, well, Emily is CC'd on this. On August the 9th, I summarized up to that point. And then on August 28th, I sent an email to Henry Shelton, CC to Emily A. House, who's here today, talking about the the August 22nd. So there are two emails, one from me, August 28th, one from me, August 9th. Both Trey and Emily have it. I tried to upload them. I think I was successful, or somebody doing. You know, I think Henry did it. Trey did it right before I left town, I think.
Okay.
So it might be one of
Either
them.
way, it'll be a part of the record, and your
Right.
representations today.
That's all we
about
need in the
community
record.
Engagement will be also incorporated as part of the record. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
No, I would just like to say that we have had a good, solid working relationship with the community. I appreciate one of the businesses coming to the hearing in person. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you for your support. Thanks to Tony for his letter. I'd like to express appreciation, both Emily and Trey, for their questions. We had a number of conferences with them. We went through the coordinated site review process with the city before they filed our application. And we've been working and will continue to work with the city departments and to deliver a first-class project. And I hope this time it goes forward. You know, it depends on financing and all the variables that are above my pay grade and above Ryan's pay grade, but it's been another good working experience with the city. I haven't had to go to court in a long time.
All right, great. Well, let's leave it at that then. I haven't had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today and letters from community members and neighboring property owners, I do agree with the applicant that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this application. So I'm going to grant approval. Mr. Koenig, as you know, I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I think I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. As soon as I finish that, if it's okay with you, I can email that decision to you directly. So you have it really just moments after it's complete. I'll include Trey and Emily on that email so that they have a copy of it as well. Once they receive it, they can approve the zoning on permitting on their end, and hopefully you all can take the next steps.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you very much.
you can certainly email that to me. And I realize under the law, there's a 30-day appeal period if anybody wanted to appeal, but I don't. I just have a question. Can someone appeal if they've not opposed it, not appeared today? Just hypothetically, if, let's say, the community group wanted to go to court. Do they still, I think they do have the right to do that. All right, yes,
Yeah, I believe they do have standing.
yeah, they do have standing, that's right.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
thank
great.
you very much.
Yeah, that's it. We are adjourned. Thanks, Ms. Odell. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.